So I decided to do a little video with Charlie's car and the dyno, as it is, blown up, to see what kind of power it makes. If I recall, it was just under 500 wheel horsepower when I left last time I had it on the dyno. So I'll show you the dyno graph, and then we'll get Charlie's car and the dyno. So that's what it made the last time I had the car here. Just a touch-up tune. If I recall, it was 9 or 10 pounds of boost. Charlie does have a small meth injection system, which we kind of use to combat detonation and whatnot with pump gas. So we'll be retaining that with the stroker build as well, because we decided to go a little bit higher compression than I normally would. Alright, I'm strapped down in the dyno with Charlie's car, ready to do some pulls. And she's down quite a bit. So that's what a 5-cylinder NSX makes at 9.5 pounds of boost. Next we do a Leakdown to figure out what happened. Alright, I've got Chuck's car in the air. And this turbo kit's been on here for 10 years, a little over actually. I finished the car January of 2009. I want to say a year or two later, Charlie wanted a little bit quieter exhaust, so we did a double muffler on it. So the car basically sounds stock until the wastegate opens, which there's the wastegate dump. Back in the day I used precision turbos. Made really good power, but the reliability went out of the window sometime in 2012, so I had to make a switch for my business at the time. Switched to Garrett. I've yet to lose a Garrett since I started doing this stuff back in 2002, so no regrets there. There's the Y pipe. These are the headers. I still have all the jigs for these. And actually today I just sold a twin turbo J series kit for an NSX as well. So still very much involved with these cars. I mean, I've developed a skill for them, and why would I stop working on them when the skill and the desire is there? So there's the intercooler. We're the first ones to come up with this location. A lot of other companies copied it over the years. And then big brakes. I did these back in 2010, I believe, before Charlie went to the track. That's the front mount heat exchanger for the intercooler. I use a water to air intercooler on all these kits. And then water pump for the car right there. And of note, nothing on the car is modified when I do these kits. Everything's bolt on. I don't cut any wiring, I don't cut anything. So there's our header. Looks like a little bit of an oil leak up in there. Probably a valve cover seal, I'd guess. But I mean, it's more of a weep. I don't think it's actually leaking anywhere. And then this mess is from the rear valve cover. The PCV filter leaks under boost because this engine has so much blow by right now. Otherwise, that's where we mounted the meth pump up in there. It's an older AEM meth injection pump with a bolt-on bracket. Yep, so now we do a leak down test and see who's right on which cylinder's dead. Something I've always used from day one with the NSX is this fancy tray. I call it the love handle, but I built one, and it's for this purpose. It's an easy to use tray system that allows you to set tools and things in the car without actually touching the car. You can see it just slides in, rests underneath, padded legs. And this is what turbo kit looks like from up top. Pretty much stock. Just gotta pull the coils out to do the leak down test. Pull the coils out, pull the plugs out. This rear bank is fun to reach on the best of days. The Targa cars are worse because the Targa bar is a little different position, so it's a lot tighter back there. There we go. Those are out. The love handle doubles as a nice little camera holder for this too. So here I've got all the plugs out, and they're in corresponding order. The front bank is a front bank, rear bank's a rear bank. The rear bank is 1, 2, 3, and then its front bank is 4, 5, 6. You can see the porcelain colors of number 3, not as white as the rest. Number 2 is also a little, yeah, it's actually pretty close. So I was guessing it was going to be cylinder 2 that's dead. I think that's changed to number 3, because that's a pretty dirty burn right there. And these plugs have been in there for 3 years, so pretty consistent burn, let alone all the dyno work we just did, so it's pretty fresh. So now we do the actual leak down. Cylinder 1 is ready to go, so then we just hook up the air supply. Cylinder 1 is like 5%, like no leak down. So cylinder 1's fine. Now we're going to do cylinder 4, which is across the bank. Build a little visual thing here. Stick it down in the spark plug hole. And then you rotate the engine until that goes all the way up. That's how you know the cylinder's at the top of this. That's how you know the piston is at the top of the cylinder. Okay, we're going to hook air up to it again. Same thing. Like 5%, hardly anything, which is, yeah, 5% is the target of any real engine builder, honestly. For this, I just do a bunch of extensions, literally right against the crank bolt. Protect the wheel so you don't hurt the wheel. Go. Alright, this is cylinder 2, which is questionable. I'm betting this is going to be 10%. Yep. Just based on how the plugs read, I figured it was broken. You can probably hear the air hissing too, but that's 11% leak down. So cylinder 2 is broken. The piston ring is broken. Not the ring, sorry. The piston ring land is broken. We gotta jump to the front, and then when we do number 3, I bet you number 3 is gonna be somewhere in here. It's gonna be nasty. Here's cylinder 5. That one, that's just 6%. It's probably okay. Obviously, I'll find out when I tear it down. All right, here's a moment of truth. This one's the gusher, I think. Ah! Yup. That one's a big doozy right there. So that explains everything. And this is the last cylinder, cylinder 6, probably okay. Yeah, that one's at 5%. So I have 2 definite failed cylinders, maybe 3, the front, middle, cylinder 5, hard to say. It could just be I was a little bit off on my cylinder set too, but definitely cylinders 2 and 3 are gone. So now I get the engine out. Of course we'll follow that. So to recap, turbo NSX at 500 wheel for a decade. Finally let go some point last year. When I say let go, I mean it started to smoke. Charlie barely noticed anything wrong except for that. Even on the dyno here, it didn't smoke at all. So, but the Leakdown numbers don't lie. We saw what happened on the spark plugs, and the love handle's badass. So next little segment is going to be dropping the engine, followed by disassembly for the last segment before I head off to Pikes Peak. And then when I return, we'll have a sleeve block, we'll have the stroker kit, we'll have all the good stuff. So I'll obviously cover the build and the reinstallation and the dyno. See if we can crack 600 wheel at 15 pounds of boost.